Make the distinction between something that's outside of you and something that's inside. Everything that is subject to your preferences, your love, things that you love, things that you hate, that's fine. You know what I mean? And you don't owe anyone an explanation. But we're talking about something that's outside of you. You have to have a proof. Otherwise, how would you know it's real? No, I'm trying to just help you, sharpen the way that you think, because most people just go like, oh, you cannot prove things. Of course you can. Of course you can. Think about it. Quiet please, take a seat. Let's continue. So, let's do some math. When is the last lesson? When is the last lesson, please?
וכמה שיעורים יש בכללים?
April 24th, it says here.
וכמה שיעורים יש בכללים?
10 or 11, I'm not certain.
יותר.
What?
נגיד, כאילו, during the... חופשה של פסח.
Passover.
יש שיעורים?
We need to get going. I don't know, honestly. So, why are you there? Bon appetit. You want to hear it or not? It's fine, don't worry about it. I ate. Go ahead. Rates, motion. Okay, everyone.
למה אתה קורא לעצמך נבא? לא, כן. אני.
That is not a very interesting story.
מה עם אסייס? אנחנו לא עושים קצת?
We will. Oh, come on. So, it's rates, right? So, lesson number 6. Rates. Motion. Let's start these. Can you please pass them? Yeah, it's not nice. To board the pages. Yeah, please write it down. Please write. What's rate? קצב, נכון.
קצב ותנועה.
אז קצב ותנועה. Rate. Now, I want you guys to write down that rate is work over time. Rate is work over time. עבודה מסוימת בזמן מסוים. Machine A completes a certain task in 6 hours. First of all, we have a task. So if I'm talking about the work over time, this is one task. And obviously 6 hours is the time, 6 HRS. Got it? So how many such tasks will Machine A complete in? So if it's one task in 6 hours, in 18 hours, how many tasks will be completed? 3, right? Now, most people taking the examination know, even after they take an SAT course, they know the basics. We're going to go obviously slightly beyond the basics. Listen, first of all, R times T equals W, right? Rate times time equals the work, right? If I take the time and just move it to the left-hand side, cool? Now, you could have also used this. You could have said, okay, if the rate is 1/6, right? That was the rate. And the time is 18. I could have also done this, 16 times 8, and that equals 3. That would have been the work, right? So here the answer is 3. כולם מסכימים משימה אחת ב6 שעות, 3 משימות ב18 שעות, נכון? So, but most people would not have solved it like this. Most people would have used the formula. What I want you guys to do is not use the formula unless you have to use it. Understand that if you have more time, if the amount of time increased by 3, what's going to happen to the amount of work?
Increase.
By a factor of 3 as well. Exactly. So that means if we have more time, we're going to have more work. If we have, instead of 1 person working, we have 3 people working, then it's going to be, the rate is going to be 3 times, right? And the work is also going to be 3 times. So here we have what's called יחס ישר. תשמעו בבקשה. בין T לבין W ובין R לבין W יש יחס ישר.
זאת אומרת, כמו שאחד מהם עולים, כך גם ה-work.
נכון מאוד.
וגם בין מי? וגם בין R ל-W?
כן. Now, how do you say יחס ישר in English?
Direct and something.
They are proportional.
או שלא.
Proportional. If we have 3 times the amount of time, we will have 3 times the work. Now, what would happen? Listen up. What would happen if somebody were to tell me, listen, the job I gave you 4 weeks to complete it? I was wrong, sorry. You only have 1 week to complete the same job. So we have a quarter of the amount of time. That means that we will need to work faster, right? How much faster?
4 times.
4 times as fast. Got it? It's a bit distracting. Yeah. Listen up again. If somebody told me you have 4 weeks to complete a project, 4 weeks to complete a project.
It's time.
It's time. And then they tell me, listen, no, the same work that you need to complete, you only have 1 week to complete that work. So that means obviously we'll need to work faster, right? How much faster? 4 times as fast. Got it? So that means that the rate and the time, יש להם יחס הפוך, נכון? נכון? אמרתי נכון? נכון.
מתבלבל לך נכון עם הפוך, ואתה נכון.
יש יחס אופקי, which means that the less time that we have, the faster we need to work. In English, it's called, anyone? Inverse proportion. Inverse proportion. What? אני?
לא, לא.
היא? מה היא עשתה עושה? היא תקנה מישהו?
לא, אבל לא.
פרצה.
לא, זה וואלה, אפילו לא שמתי לב. אני מוכרח לדעת שאת כל הכבוד לך, ואני יודע כמה זה קשה. באמת. שיפור היסטרי. ממש. Moving on, please. Take a look at question number 2, please. Question number 2. Machine A completes a certain task in 6 hours. Machine B completes the same task in 4 hours. Everybody agrees that these are everybody agrees. Everybody agrees that these are the rates, right?
זה גם היחס או ש...
מה זאת אומרת זה גם היחס?
כאילו, זה היחס של הקצב שלהם, לא?
יש בזה משהו, כן, זה מאוד מאוד דומה. If the ratio of the times is 6 to 4, then the ratio of the rates is going to be 4 to 6. So, assuming that the 2 machines are working together, tell me please, if the 2 machines are working together, what do we need to do between their rates?
Combine.
We need to combine, add, multiply. What's that? No, add. You're right. We need to add those rates. And please indicate this. This is going to be the rate combined. This is the combined rate. And I'm going to dictate this in a second. But think about it this way. If, let's say, Tal inflates 30 balloons per minute, and I inflate 20 balloons per minute, what is our combined rate? If she inflates 30 and I inflate 20 in 1 minute. 50, exactly. What did you do between the 2? Add them, right? So obviously, in order to explain it to you, what did I do? I gave you just a simple example, which is what you always need to do.
Plug in.
Plug in, exactly. You plug in simple numbers, got it? So everybody agrees that this is going to be the rate combined, the combined rate, right? So I need to add those. Sorry, the least common multiple is 12, so that's going to be 2 plus 3, and that is 5, 12. I want you guys to remember that 5 tasks per 12 hours is exactly the same as 5 12s of a task per hour. Exactly. Those of you who did physics, who took physics, know that you can play with the units. You can simply detach the units. אפשר פשוט לקחת את היחידות ואת המספרים בנפרד וזה עובד מצוין. Please remember that this is the same thing. I want you guys, this is an understanding of what rates are about and not just plugging in, not just playing around with formulas. Everybody agrees? Now, this is the combined rate. Now, they're going to ask you how many such tasks will be completed in 5 and 12 hours. So, 5, exactly. If the rate is 5 and... No! You'd be surprised, but this is slightly tricky. About 30% of people are not going to get it. But if you do know that this is the same as that, so 5 over 12, that is the rate of tasks per hour, which means it's 5 tasks in 12 hours. You don't need to use another formula, you just know it. And what about, so A is going to be 5. What about in 24 hours?
10.
Exactly. 5 tasks in 12 hours, which means that if we multiply the amount of time times 2, we said that if we have more time, we will have more work. נכון, יחס ישר, יותר זמן, יותר עבודה. So, רונן, אז זה אומר בעצם שיהיו גם יותר משימות, וזה יהיה 10, 10 tasks. Question? Yeah?
כמה יהיה ב10?
Exactly. Now, these two numbers are very SAT numbers. They work out quite nicely. But this number doesn't work out nicely, right? Because 12 is a multiple of 12, 24 is a multiple of 12, but 10 is not a multiple of 12. What do? You could. But listen, the combined rate is 5 over 12, right? The time is 10 hours. You know that R times T equals W, right? So just do the math. Got it? In this case, I want you to do the math. But up until now, we saw about 5 cases, question 1, A, B, C, question 2, A, and B, where you didn't have to do the math. מובן? בסדר? פה באמת, מכיוון שזה קצת מגעיל, הייתי עושה את המתמטיקה.
יש לך על זה יוצא?
5 מתוך 12, X מתוך 10.
5?
5
כן,
מתוך
כן, נכון, יוצא. So here you would be able to do the math. So what I want you guys to write down right now is, write it down please. And this is a very common scenario on this examination. This is a very common scenario on the examination. תסלחו לי שנייה, אבא שנייה בבית חולים, כן אמא. Hello? לא. לא, 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 אני לא יכול. ביי. Okay, so if you have two bodies in motion, right? שני גופים בעבודה או בתנועה, מאוחר יותר נדבר על תנועה. So if you have two bodies at work, sometimes it can be even more. The first thing that I want you to do, Noah, is actually not just automatically combine them. You need to ask yourself something in advance. The first thing that I want you guys to ask yourselves is, are the rates identical? Ha'im ha'hespekim zehim. Are the rates identical? Please ask that. Now, this is a flow chart, which means that I have two options. The rates are either going to be identical or the rates are not going to be identical. In this case, for example, were the rates identical? We had A, a rate of 1/6, and we had B, a rate of 1/4, right? So they were not. So in this case, the second thing I'm going to ask you guys to do, so we have an example of rates that are not identical. הדבר השני, ואני רוצה בבקשה שתזכרו את זה, אלו שאלות שאנשים בדרך כלל לא אוהבים, ואלו לא שאלות כל כך קשות. The second thing that I want you guys to ask yourselves, is what is the combined rate. אני רוצה בבקשה שתחשבו הספק לחשב הספק משותף. עכשיו, איך מחשבים הספק משותף? יש שתי אפשרויות.
ממוצע.
I'm sorry?
LCM?
No. LCM means that when you add or subtract two fractions, then you use to find the LCM. I'm talking about something much more fundamental. I'm asking, are the bodies helping one another or interfering with one another's work? Got it? אם הגופים עוזרים זה לזה, אז ההספק המשותף יהיה rate 1 plus rate 2. נכון? אם גוף אחד עוזר לגוף השני, then the combined rate is going to be R1 plus R2. Now I gave you an example of inflating balloons, right, earlier. So let's say in 1 minute, Tal, which he's not eating, is inflating 30 balloons, because right now she can't, and I blow up 20 balloons per minute. What is our combined rate? 10. נכון, אם 30 מנפחת ואני מפוצץ 20, זאת אומרת אחרי דקה 10 בלונים יישארו נפוחים, נכון? So if the two bodies are interfering with one another, אם שני הגופים מפריעים זה לזה, so the combined rate is going to be R1 minus R2.
אם אומרים בחצי מהזמן שאם מפוצצת אתה, שהיא מנפחת אתה...
זה קצת יותר מורכב, אבל בגדול...
לא יהיה כזה?
יכול להיות, כן, יש פה שאלה.
אז מכפילה את עצמה,
כן. But I want you to think about the combined rate, and then just use R times T equals W. Then you can simply use the formula or use some kind of an extension of the formula. So please remember that we had an example of two bodies that are helping one another. Question number 2. You know what really is helpful here, and this is geared towards the people who want to get a very, very high quantitative score. What's interesting here is what happens if the two bodies do have identical rates. Then you'll see a small magic show. But right now, this is also kind of helpful. You know, I need to streamline my process of understanding the question. אני צריך לעשות את זה כמה שיותר מהר, וזהו, שני גופים בתנועה מיד. האם הספקים זהים, אם לא זהים, מחבר או חסר את הספקים שלהם.
רגע, אם הם זהים, אז מה?
אני אמרתי שאני לא מראה. נכון? אז למה שוב?
אמרת שזה נגד.
Take a look at question number 4, please. Machine A completes a certain task. No, I don't want to solve this.